Hey y'all, welcome back to Sitting with Ashley. I'm Ashley. This is a collective coffee, specifically talking about the United States today. There's a lot of other things to talk about, but I think we should talk about the United States. Yesterday, the United States was put on a Human Rights Watch list. I'm trying to find the info. Hang on. U.S. added to international watch list for rapid decline in civic freedoms. I'll read this. The United States has been added to the Civicus Monitor watch list, signaling a rapid decline in civic freedoms. Civicus is a global civil rights watchdog, cited concerns over the Trump administration's attacks on democratic norms, including crackdowns on protests, mass firings of federal employees, and restrictions on media access. The organization warned that these actions undermine the constitutional principles that threaten global human rights efforts. Currently, the United States holds a narrowed civic space rating, but the Civicus predicts a downgrade in obstructed, as seen during Trump's first term. Comparing the situation to McCarthy era repression, Civicus urged the U.S. to uphold the rule of law and warned that Trump's policies could embolden authoritarian regimes worldwide. It's already happening, obviously. I also want to talk about where is his name? Yesterday there was the United States kidnapped a green card holder, and I want to get his name correct. Muhammad Khalil. So what happened was he was protesting at Columbia University, and American consciousness. There was so much shit about this man. I want to learn. I want to make sure I have the facts. Was it Border Patrol? Was it ICE? Or was it some other jurisdiction? I guess it doesn't matter. Either way, he was apprehended, which means arrested, and then he was trafficked to Louisiana, and his wife is 8 months pregnant, and she is a U.S. citizen, and the arresting jurisdiction threatened to take her as well. And Trump's response, I do have that here in my, so this situation is setting a precedent, and I want us to understand that, right? Okay, Trump said, this is the first arrest of many to come. And yeah, it was ICE detention of Muhammad Khalil. And Trump wrote, following my previously signed executive orders. YouTube doesn't like that I want to watch shit on repeat and they keep fucking me up. I'm autistic, let me watch it. Following my previously signed executive orders, ICE proudly apprehended and detained Muhammad Khalil, a radical foreign pro-Hamas student, on the campus of Columbia University. This is the first arrest of many to come. We know that there are more students at Columbia and other universities across the country who have engaged in pro-terrorist, anti-Semitic, anti-American activity. Okay, I'm gonna write those 3 things down. Hang on. We're gonna talk about that. Oh, I got myself new lights. This one is like, yeah, it's a sunset light. Anyway, okay, I want to write these 3 things down because this is going to be the rhetoric that's going to be circling. You guys like my robe? Also, I'm wearing the Black Panthers today. Mm-hmm. You're welcome for that shimmy. Okay, back to what's happening. Pro-terrorist. Okay, this is giving V for Vendetta. You know what? We might as well just talk about V for Vendetta again. I think it's... I don't know. I'll talk about it again. I love that movie. Anti-Semitic. Anti-American. Which is just so ass backwards, because obviously Americans, or America, right, are the terrorists. Well-known fact among the global south and the global majority brown folks, right? Okay. The Trump administration will not tolerate it. Okay, Daddy. Sorry about that. Oh God, I need a palate cleanser after that. Okay. Many are not students, they are paid agitators. I wish I was getting paid to be a revolutionary. We will find, apprehend, and deport these terrorist sympathizers. Ooh, that needs to get right down. Yeah, this is totally giving V for Vendetta. What do you expect from a Hollywood elite other than to repeat movie lines, right? Terrorist sympathizers. Don't put air quotes around that one. Anyway, okay, continue. From our country, never to return again. If you support terrorism, including the slaughtering... Okay, this is the interesting part, okay? This is the interesting part. This is when things are so ass backwards. So we're going to talk about hypocrisy. I don't know how to spell hypocrisy. Okay. Never to read. I gotta save this post. This is fast. I'm gonna actually take a screenshot of this wordage. Okay. If you support terrorism, including the slaughtering of innocent men, women, and children, your presence is contrary to our national and foreign policy interests, and you are not welcome here. We expect every one of America's colleges and universities to comply. Thank you. Exclamation point. Obviously, Trump didn't write that. First and foremost. He said some shit in his social media or communication. I remember in 2017 when he was the president and he was always behind the podium, I was making fun of him because my bachelor's is in communication. And so I was like, man, your speechwriter is so, like, much smarter than you, right? Because they, obviously. So anyway, whatever. Alright. I'm trying to, we all know the man is an idiot. Who is watching me? Nice. Okay. So, do you guys remember me saying it's gonna get worse before it gets better? because I've said that a lot. I think the thing to really talk about right now is what we can do as individuals on our own level to combat these things, right? Because it feels too large, and when something feels too large or overwhelming, instead of even looking at it, we just ignore it and pretend like everything's fine, which takes a lot of privilege. Okay, let's acknowledge the privilege in pretending everything is fine right now, myself included. I've been doing side quests and not really paying attention because it brings my vibration down, and I know that's a bullshit thing. I've been working on some other stuff, okay? Anyway, point being, I need to be paying attention to this shit and reporting back to you. It's part of my role in this time. So, I also wanted to share that I got a piece of something I shared got denied, or deleted. And it was a list of phone numbers for Doge staff, which is the Department of Government. What is it? It's the Elon Musk thing, where it's like all these little white boys, like frat boys. So I do have a screenshot of that, so I'll blow it up and make sure that we can continue circulating these phone numbers. I did. So I post every time I get something removed on Instagram. I always make a post with it, just for the sake of archiving information more than anything. So it says, we removed your story. You can go to my Instagram. It's Ascending with Ashley as well. And then it says, this goes against our community standards on privacy. So what that means, I'll blow this up. I took a screenshot. So I still have all the phone numbers and names. So what that means is that these are not, this is a very clear distinction between, I'm thinking FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act, FOIA. It doesn't seem like FOIA exists anymore. And I know FOIA is more about like getting access to documents or information, court cases, things like that. When you file a FOIA, it's to receive information from the government that is either classified or whatever. But you can always petition the government. Well, you could up until 2 months ago. You could literally put in a FOIA for any information you wanted, and it would be reviewed by said department, and your access would either be granted or denied, and you would receive a letter. But part of that is within the Constitution of the United States for access to information, right? And it's probably an amendment. I don't know. It doesn't matter anymore that shit is not being upheld, and I think that's the main point. When you have government, well, Elon Musk isn't even a part of the government, right? But when you have an entire department that is extracting funding, getting access to information of Americans and public citizens, and there's definitely oversight here. And there's also conflict of interest, which up until, again, 2 months ago, were things that the United States would often at least paper tiger their way through, meaning they'd make it look like they were upholding these things, even if there was never an intention to. They would still go through the process of pushing papers, accessing departments, information to either grant or deny said requests, okay? So all that I'm saying is that as public, we've never really been here in our lifetime, so I'm navigating this just the same way everyone else is. But as public servants, which these positions are used to be government held positions who have been, why is your butt in my tea? Anyway, cats. Lucy and Hootie, my OGs. Elon Musk made a tweet. So the thing that's concerning is with this information. Okay, a New York federal judge has blocked the deportation of Mahmoud. I'm not even saying his name right. Mahmoud. My bad. I'm sorry. Mahmoud. It's embarrassing. Mahmoud Khalil. My bad. So again, these judges are blocking things, but we are in a dictatorship, I think, is the most important thing. I think that these undercover ICE agents too. What is this? Oh fuck, where'd it go? Damn. I think that one of the very real things that we really need to think about is how these positions are being filled by Klansmen, by militia, by violent white supremacists. And even if they're not, in this time, the thing that's scary is people are like, yes, talking about how ICE is the Gestapo, but I think we need to take that a step further and recognize with the footage that's coming out, a lot of these are white boys in cosplay, right? Cosplay, is that the word? Dress up, wearing these things. So we don't really, the authority of who's carrying out the actual on the ground of this is exactly the same as what we're seeing in other parts of the world. Oh, that's Sunny. I don't know if you guys have ever met Sunny. Hi, Sunny. Her name used to be Sully, like after the Monster Inc. character, because she's very skittish. But then she came around, and so I changed it to Sunny. Right, baby girl? Anyway, the thing that you're always gonna have people who want violence. Those are white supremacists, Nazis, Zionists. And I think that's the interesting thing too, and I haven't really seen anyone make this connection, is that a lot of the people who are carrying out genocide in Palestine, like literally on the ground, I keep bringing this up because it's very important. Those people have home countries, because that's not their land. So they are going home to their home countries, and they probably have positions of either policing or some sort of militia or clan or brotherhood. I don't know. But regardless, so these people are maybe carrying out genocide. I mean, I know that there are people who are carrying out genocide and then going to their home countries. Let's just use the United States as an example for this, and putting on a police uniform, putting on an ICE uniform, putting on a mask or a fake police vest, because you can buy all that shit. I saw a thing that there was this white guy who bought himself an ice jacket from like Amazon. He said it was like $25. He's like, yeah, I wear this and people are scared. Okay, don't do that. But also, that's the thing, is like, this is a global, as much as it's a global movement for liberation, at this point, it's also a global tyranny and global fascism, and we don't know where these people are. And I want you to understand that it's not just men. And let me show you a video. Let me show you. U.S. cops attack pro-Palestinian protesters in New York. See, but he's wearing a sweatshirt. Okay? He's not even wearing a uniform. So who is that guy? Right? Okay, well, here are all the other uniform pigs. They all ganged up on the same guy. Okay? 8 cops on 1 person. So, we are in a space... Ooh, my arm hurts. Oh, God. Ooh. We are in a space of not knowing who's who right now. So this is all women. These are IOF in the West Bank, who made a TikTok after they raided some people's homes and kicked them out. These are all women. Women Zionists, dressed up, making fun of Palestinians. But I want you to understand that these aren't just men. Every single one of these is a woman. Okay? This is a woman who's in toxic masculine energy, obviously. Okay? So, if your FYP doesn't look like that, or your info, there are a lot of people you can follow and learn about these things. But I think the most important thing, I mean, I don't have any solutions. My solutions are, as always, build alongside of what's happening to the best of your ability for as long as you possibly can. Safety networks, we've already talked about the things that I think. We really have to think locally and network globally. I'll come on here with some comrades and ancestors today because I feel like we really need an uplifting of the struggle. And I think recognize how important you are in this time being alive, because we haven't experienced this before. And I think sometimes it can get really scary or paralyzing, but it can also be an opportunity, right? There's always an opportunity, and all revolutionaries have always said this. In these moments of gross human rights violations, there is always opportunity to do something different, and that's what it takes. And also recognizing that revolution, especially for the United States, is not going to be a one-time, one-protest situation. It's going to be building and building and connecting and building and creating and imagining and fighting back in different ways and supporting the people who need the support at the time, showing up for our communities. Yeah, that's what it's gonna take. It's not, don't lose hope. Just don't lose hope. Go watch V for Vendetta, because it only takes one person to spark an idea, but an idea has to be carried by many others, right? So think about like sparking a joint or sparking a torch. You spark it and then you pass it, right? So that everyone else can be on the same level, all right? Let's work on our joint smoking, okay, guys? Just kidding. Sort of. I don't know. I don't have answers. I do know that as humanity, we've been here before many times. We are currently in this space. Lots of other countries are also experiencing these things. The United States has never had good human rights, and I want you to understand that. While yes, we are on this, restricted civil rights, okay, but there have been groups of people in this country who have always had that. Oh gosh, my battery is low. I'm gonna lose you guys. So just remember, while we've never been here before, this country has been many times. And it's time for us to do something different for a different outcome, okay? Have a good one.